Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
All right, what's going on YouTube? Diggy546. If you're looking at this and it's around 6:15, 6:30, I may still be streaming. But if not, go check out the retroactive stream. I'm about to stream as soon as this video goes up. So, I guess I'm competing against myself, but I wanted to get a stream out because I couldn't get one during the game. So today is just more of the same. I hate to get on here and just parrot the same thing every week. It's exhausting. It's disappointing. It's annoying. Brian Daboll should be fired. I don't want him fired in season because I don't think it's productive. I don't see anybody that's going to step up. I did hear something, I think, from Boomer Esiason where he said maybe you fire, or maybe it was somebody else. Maybe it was BT and Sal. Somebody on WFAN, they said maybe you fire Brian Daboll because you want to take a look at Mike Kafka. Do I think Mike Kafka is going to be our head coach next year and he's going to be the guy that leads us to the promised land? Absolutely not. But maybe that's something you do. Maybe you give him full control of everything and maybe that just makes everything better. I don't know. But I doubt it. So again, I'm not a proponent of him getting fired right now, but I do think that there are immediate upgrades that you can make on the defensive end. Even still, today, our defensive coordinator, Shane Bowen, went against Ben Johnson. There were holes all over the defense. But beyond that, beyond the holes and all the throws that Caleb missed or his receivers dropped, the defense played pretty well. They played inspired football. He got the defense up to play. I'm not going to take credit from him and say that, in the games where we come out flat and say, hey, how could he not get them ready to go? And then games where we don't come out flat, I'm not going to say he didn't get them ready to go. So he had them ready to go energetically. But at the end of the game, they always fold. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This defense is always going to fall apart at the end of games. They could not get Caleb Williams on the ground no matter what they did. And Caleb is one of the more elusive quarterbacks in the NFL. But to not get him on the ground one time when you had all of those chances to is really, really frustrating. And then, of course, we got 2 callback because of pass interference penalties or illegal contact penalties, which, again, more of the same with Shane Bowen and Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll, his team is completely and always undisciplined. They're always undisciplined. You get 5 yards on a play, you immediately get 5 yards taken off the board because, an illegal formation or something else. You get a big play, you get a holding penalty. On almost all of our big runs this year, there's a block in the back. Always there's a block in the back. I would say out of, if we have 4 25-yard runs before the ref throw a flag, if we have 4 of them, 3 of them are going to be illegal block in the back. So there's just a lot of undisciplined football going on. Dart taking off with the ball and not securing the ball while he hasn't broken away yet is undisciplined. He's fumbling, and then because he's reaching for the fumble, he's not able to stop himself, and his head hits the ground, and he's out of the game. And I fully believe that if Dart stays in the game, we win this game. Because I just don't think against this defense, how bad they are, I don't think he would have stopped scoring. So I think, for what it's worth, I think Dart wins this game. But that just should tell you something about Brian Daboll. When Jaxson Dart is in the game, his offense is humming. When Josh Allen is in the game, his offense is humming. You see it a lot. You know what you see a lot of? Extending the play, running, all those kinds of things with Josh Allen and Jaxson Dart. What about when Daniel Jones is in this offense? And this isn't me saying Daniel Jones is a world beater. He's not an MVP candidate like they tried to say he was, but he's obviously a solid quarterback, a solid to good quarterback who can play at a very high level if everything around him is going well. But at the end of the day, Daniel Jones could barely move the ball in this offense. And even in his worst games for the Colts this year, he's been able to move the football. Tyrod Taylor, again, made some plays, but Tyrod Taylor at the end of the day could barely move the football in this offense. Drew Lock could barely move the football right after coming from Seattle, where the guy was like, people were thinking like, is this guy going to make a resurgence? Now he's completely gone. Yeah, he's just gone because, he got buried because he played for Daboll. All of these guys cannot even move. It's a struggle to get them to put up 10 points on a consistent basis. But with Dart And with Josh Allen, the offense moves. So if Daboll needs Dart or Josh Allen or a quarterback that is playing at a very, very high level like that just to score points, that should tell you who he is as a coach. Because Dart has to overcome third and long after third and long after third and long after third and long over and over and over again just to keep this offense on schedule. And even then, Daboll Daboll does some good things to put him in positions to win, but at the end of the day, Dart is still basically carrying his team by himself at this point with no Scatterboo, no neighbors, basically by himself. So it's just frustrating here. It's just frustrating again where Dart goes out, he fumbles the ball, and that would have put the game away if Dart doesn't fumble the ball. And again, discipline. No discipline there. He does it. He fumbles the ball there. He probably score there at that point in the game, and we probably get the ball back after that and score again with the momentum that we had. But he fumbles. He tries to reach for the ball. He hits his head on the ground. You see how he didn't need. He was focused on getting the ball and securing that, even though he wasn't able to. Instead of bracing his fall like Slayton does all the time before when he drops a pass. Solid game from Slayton today, but Dart gets concussed. Russell Wilson comes in. He gets bailed out. Brian Daboll does with a 40-something yard check down to Devin Singletary on some awful tackling by the Bears that puts us down there. And then Tyrone Tracy breaks off a couple of runs. And you're at the half-yard line after a penalty, and you decide not to sneak the ball in for a half yard? How spineless can you be? How spineless can you be, Brian Daboll, from the half-yard line? You don't think that it makes sense? This Mr. Aggressive guy that's always on the sideline yelling, spazzing out at the coaches, at the referees. This guy is scared to go for it from the half-yard line? Are you kidding me? With the chance to go up 3 scores, you're scared to go forward from the half-yard line. So he's scared to do that. He takes the field goal. Our defense gets the ball back. For all the people that just say they want to say, "Oh no, well the defense couldn't stop anybody, so it didn't matter." Our defense on the next drive, after kicking it off to them and them starting from the 25 or 30-something yard line, we forced them to punt the ball back to us. So you think we couldn't have done it from the 1 yard line? Maybe from the 1 yard line or from the half yard line. Maybe Caleb Williams actually, makes a mistake. Maybe he throws an interception. Maybe he fumbles the ball. Maybe we get a safety. You don't know what happens from the half-yard line. And I think they're even on the worst offensive lines in football, from the half-yard line, 9 out of 10 times you're going to pick a half yard up on a quarterback sneak. Just 9 out of 10 times. The tush push, people, I'm going to tell you something that is breaking news, but not really. The tush push is only about 5 or 6 percentage points higher, more effective than the quarterback sneak is already. League wide. So again, you have an opportunity to sneak the ball from the half-yard line and you're scared to do it. And we wonder why we can't win football games, because every time we get a lead, we play scared. We hold the lead like a baby and we rock it and slowly teams just crawl their way out of it. Shane Bowen freezes up as a defensive play caller. Deonte Banks starts grabbing people. Drew Phillips starts grabbing people they can't cover to save their lives. And just teams just gash us. And it's about momentum. It's about discipline. And momentum is so underrated in football. You put a touchdown on that board at that point with your rookie quarterback or with Russell Wilson, either way. But if you put up a touchdown on that board after the rookie quarterback goes out, and now, you basically run your way down the field, at that point, you can say, we're on top of things. We have all the momentum. The defense goes out there. Maybe they force a turnover. Maybe they sack Caleb Williams. You don't know what would happen. And it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate because we've had 4 games this year where we've led by 10 points and lost the game. And there's nobody to look forward. There's nobody to look to in these situations more than Brian Daboll. That's the first place you look. That's the last place you look in these situations. But yeah, I'll just wrap this up. Shout out to Jaxson Dart. 242 yards passing. Had a good game. Had 2 rushing touchdowns. Another multi-touchdown game from Jaxson Dart. His first game, I think, without a passing touchdown. But this guy is doing his thing. He's doing his thing, and we win this game 10 times out of 10 if Jaxson Dart stays in this game. Just unfortunate. Hopefully he can be back next week. And if not, Daboll clearly does not like Russell Wilson. Daboll clearly cannot get anything out of Russell Wilson. Can we please see Jameis? If there's no Dart, can we please see Jameis? Or are we not trying to win? Maybe we're not trying to win. You know, maybe Daboll's got the check, and maybe Daboll has been told you're going to be fired at the end of the season, but take this check and make sure we lose. But there is no excuse to put Russell Wilson out there because the offense doesn't do anything. We literally could not do anything with Russell Wilson in the game besides, again, a dump off to Devin Singletary, who willed his way for 40-something yards. So you all let me know what you're thinking. I mean, it's more the same. I cannot wait. And I want Shane gone, but it seems like all the reports that he's not going anywhere. And I would love for this dude to be gone. But I just know even with Shane still here and better coaching, this team is a lot more fun to watch and could be turned around because Dart is a special player. And I would very much hate to see this guy with a coach like this that just loses him games over and over and over again.